Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Chainsaw Man. This is Rude, my name is Matt, hello. So, last week we got to watch one of the best first episodes I've seen in a long time to anything ever. We started Chainsaw Man and dude, that first episode was a banger and I couldn't wait to watch the next one. But like, I had to. We have to wait weekly for them to come out. So now it is release day. The episode has come out a couple hours ago. I am ready to watch it. Also, another couple of things that like came out like immediately after I finished recording that episode, because I'm recording this episode as blind as possible. I'm not checking social media or anything. I don't want to know anything anyone says. Like, I feel like I already know enough just by seeing the characters and getting like a couple of out of context panels over the years. I'm just like, I don't want to know anymore. But like last week, something that came out like immediately after I checked the first episode, I went on Twitter and shit, and I saw people talking about all the references that the OP has. And the thing is that opening has a bunch of references to cinema, because apparently the guy, I think his name is Fujimoto, the guy who makes Chainsaw Man, the mangaka, I think he's actually a big like film buff, and I think they wanted to sneak in a bunch of references to movies, either at his request or just as a homage to what he is into. You know, sort of how in JoJo you get like a bunch of like outro songs that are also songs that Araki really like, you know, shit like that. Also, like, my favorite example of that in JoJo is that in part 2 of JoJo there's a song called, I think it was Welcome to the World, that just straight up has the intro to Yes, a song, Owner of a Lonely Heart. They just straight up sample that intro, and it's like, of course, that's what you do. So with Chainsaw Man, they just straight up made shot by shot recreations of a bunch of famous scenes from famous movies. Here's the thing, I am not a movie kind of guy. I've never watched many movies in my life. That's a big blind spot that I have when it comes to my knowledge of media. And even then, like, realistically, there's like 3 like references to that intro that I probably could have gotten, but I just watched it once, and I was just excited to watch things that I wasn't fully registering what I was seeing. But there was a moment where I was like, is that the Big Lebowski? Like, what are they doing here? But it was actually, that's just straight up what it was. But yes, there's like a giant list of references to that intro. If you're a fan of Chainsaw Man, you've probably seen them already. If not, go back to see them. There's a lot. There's like fucking 10, 15 references and shot by shot recreations. It's fantastic. That also makes the OP so like good, because the OP feels like it's very well directed, and it's like, well, so of course it is. There's like a 30-second segment where they're just taking the direction from already previous established famous movies, and it's like, of course. But it also means that they understand what like a good shot is, so that's something that makes me very confident about it. Also, the animation was great, and then like the final 30 seconds of the intro is just a bunch of Sakuga. It's just so, it looks so good, so I'm just like, oh, that OP is so good. It's fantastic. I've been listening to it a ton because the song came out like on the day the episode came out. It's called Kickback by Kenshi Yonezu. And right now, at the time we're talking about this, by the time the second episode comes out, this song has 11 million plays on Spotify. It's a good song. So it's a good song. I think we can say it's a good, successful song. It's been a literal week. There's also a really cool part in the full version of that song that like, it completely shifts to a different genre, almost like halfway through, like out of nowhere. It sounds so weirdly different, and then it goes back to the song that you're used to. And I'm just sitting here like, man, that's so good. Like I love prog. I want all of my songs to completely shift into a different genre halfway through, ideally multiple times, but I'll take just one. Anyway, we just spent the long time catching up with like stuff about the previous episode. Let's talk about what actually happened in it, the recap. So we met Denji and his pet Pochita, who is a chainsaw demon dog, and it's adorable as fuck. I feel like I didn't spend that much time talking about Pochita on the first episode, but I love Pochita. I feel like that is implied. It is an adorable demon chainsaw dog. And the thing is that Denji is, I'm not sure if the world is fucked up or if just his situation is fucked up, but his father left him with a lot of debt to the Yakuza. His father killed himself too. And then the Yakuza, they're a bunch of scumbags, and they come in to talk to Denji, and they're like, all right, you gotta give us like $600,000. I mean, yen, I guess, or some other generic currency for this fantasy world, which is, it's somewhat fantastic with just devils in it. But then they're like, all right, you gotta give us money or we're just gonna fucking kill you and sell your organs. And he's like, oh shit. So then he finds Pochita, and they made a deal where Pochita's gonna help him and he's gonna help Pochita. More important than anything, it's less of a deal and more of a they bonded together. So they bonded and then they became very close to each other. And Denji even talks about like how he didn't have enough with his life with Pochita, but maybe he should have. You know what? That's not really the case. I think you were living in such a terrible condition, Denji, that I think asking for a little bit more is not a lot. Like, you just want to live. Like, you're not asking for a lot here. That was his dream, being able to live a nice life, having maybe like a good place to live in, maybe get a good friends, and get a girlfriend. That was his dream. And the thing is that he got fucking chopped up in pieces by a fucking devil, and thrown into a dumpster, and he's fucking dead. And then Pochita is able to use some devil magic in order to fuse with Denji and save his life. So he resurrects Denji's body and fuses with it. And now Denji has Pochita's tail, which is this chainsaw cord coming out of his chest. And then he pulls it, and then he gets fucking chainsaw for arms and face. And then he goes rah and kills everything. He kills the zombie devil and every other zombie that was member of the Yakuza. And I didn't mention this a lot, but it's the fact that he like was having fun while he was killing the Yakuza members. He was like, I don't owe you any more money now, do I? And it's like, you know what? That, like, I like that. That also, like, it's one of those things where you're seeing this character and you're like, oh, that's not a really nice thing to do. And it's like, well, have you seen his fucking situation? Like, Denji's a really cool main character right away because of how fucked his situation is at the very beginning, and where do we go from here, right? And then at the end of the episode, this woman who is with public safety, I still find that kind of funny, shows up with a couple of guys, and they were coming here to defeat the zombie devil. They were devil hunters, and then they meet Denji, and they're like, what do we do with him? And then Denji asks her to hug him, and then she does, and then he turns back into human. And I wonder if that's going to be a thing. Like, that's something I thought about later, is if he's going to need like some kind of like human affection or emotion to pull him back from the devil form. Like, that could be, maybe not, maybe I'm reading too much into it. He turns back into human, and then she's like, oh, you're human. Okay, so I'll give you two choices. I can kill you as the devil, or you can come. Okay, what is the explicit wording she uses? Because this is very important, because I was noticing this while I was editing the episode. The wording that she uses for her ultimatum is very... She says, or I can keep you as a human. The wording that she uses, I can keep you as a human, is very important, because I mean, I feel like we talk about this, but I feel like I was so excited for episode 1 that I just went off about like my excitement and how cool everything was. But the reality is that this is fucked up because she's treating Denji as a dog, which is not an improvement as to how he was being treated by the Yakuza, who also treat him and refer to him as a dog. I mean, she's doing the same thing. The only difference is that she's giving him good food, probably maybe some kind of like place to live in, and also she looks like a dummy mummy. So he's like, fuck yes, this sounds like the best thing ever. I mean, in his situation, of course he would look like it, because in his situation, he's so much at the rock bottom, he literally died this episode, that of course, the only way to go is up, right? Man, I haven't been talking for like 15 minutes. Fuck this shit. Let's start episode 2. We'll talk a lot about after the second episode is done, so stay in for that. Okay. I forgot to say this, but check out the Patreon, check out the link in the description below or the pop-up on screen. You can support the channel and get access to full reaction episodes if you're interested in that. Okay, let us begin. So, Chainsaw Man Season 1, Episode 2. Let's go.
私に飼われることになります。返事ははいかワンだけ。いいえなんていう犬はいらない。使えないうちの犬は安楽死させられるんだって。
Oh my god. Oh boy.
こんな怖い女だったなんて犬扱いしやがってよ。
Immediately.
ポチタ死んだのを思い出しちまった。
I wonder, I feel like we'll get to see Pochita back. Like inside his mind palace or something.
俺金ないんすけど。
好きなの言いなよ。 私お金出すから。
Never mind, she's a wonderful person.
はい。
初めて優しくされた。
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
好き。
Intro? Yeah! Mirai, a beautiful stop. My friend pointed out something very interesting in this intro. There we go, there it is. There's imagery of a snail with a worm in its head that is like mind controlling him. And I think that's meant to be Makima. Beautiful stop, beautiful stop. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's passing out.
デンジ君
Makes sense.
いい匂い。チェーンソーで自分の体も切れちゃって。
What do you mean they cut you too?
君の状態は歴史的に見ても前例がとても少ないよ。
I see. You're a rarity.
私は特別に鼻が利くんだ。君の親友は君の中で生きてる。体から人と悪魔2つの匂いがするもん。大丈夫？一人で食べれる？
食べれる。
Huh?
食べれません。
Oh my god. I was like, why did she suggest he's woofing? Man, it really took nothing for him to ignore all the red flags.
マキマ。
There we go.
マキマさん。好きな男のタイプとかあり
Of
ま
course,
す
we're going for this question. What does she say?
デンジ君みたいな人。
Okay. It took him like 5 seconds. Dude, that's me. I think she's pressing all the right buttons in order to control him.
民間も含めてデビルハンター
Over
が
a
1000人以上もいる
thousand.
けど、
Including civilians?
マキマさんが俺を好きっつうことは。
It's all he's thinking about. Yeah, I'll
そういう
work for
関
her.
係になった
Maybe she'll like me
そ
then.
ういう行為もできるんじゃ。
And if we get together, we can get together.
愛してー。
Oh my god, he's down bad. Oh god. Oh, what's up?
彼の名前は早川明。
Aki
デン
Hayakawa.
ジ君より3年先輩。
Okay. 3 years senpai.
俺、マキマさんと一緒に仕事すんじゃないんすか。
お前とマキマさんとでは格が違う。
Oh, that
今行
painting.
くぞ。
やだーマキマさん。
君の働きぶりが良ければ一緒に仕事できるよ。
Press the right buttons. Oh,
頑張ってね。
like I said, her eyes are like hypnotic. Done. Sold.
先輩よ。マキマさん
Senpai.
って男いんの？
Oh my god. He's like, I don't have time for this shit. Ooh.
お前仕事辞めろ。
Whoa.
明日も来たらまたボコるからな。俺の優しさが伝わらないかな。軽い気持ちで仕事するやつは死ぬぜ。生きてるやつはみんな根っこに信念があるやつだけだ。マキマさん目当てでデビルハンターなったろ。
ピンポーン。
Oh. Oh.
俺は男と喧嘩するだけ股間しか狙わねえ。
My god.
今日初めてうどん食ったぜ。初めて人並みの扱いされたし、初めて飯食わせてもらった。俺は軽い気持ちでデビルハンターなったけどよ、この生活続けるためだったら死んでもいいぜ。
マキマさんはな、お前みたいなチンピラが好きになっていい人間じゃねえ。
Oh my god. Is he also into Makima?
てめえもマキマさんが好きなだけじゃねえ。
Maybe. My god, dude. He said he would. I like how that's all it took. That's realistic. She's like, what the fuck did
先
y'all
輩が金
do?
玉の悪魔に玉を襲われま
The Nut Devil, man.
うちはただでさえめんどくさいのが多いんですよ。
I already got enough troublemakers.
的な体勢で動かしてみ
Your
る。
team's experimental. Oh god.
違反行動があった場合、デンジ君は悪魔として処分されます。
If he ever says no,
死
kill
ぬまで
him.
一緒に働こうってこと。
Oh my god, we own you.
マキマさんって悪い人なの？
That's a great
そう思うなら
question.
マキマさんは諦めろ。
じゃあいい人なのか？
いい人に決まってる。
Hmm?
俺の命の恩人だ。
Oh my god, yeah, okay. I can see where this goes. She rescues puppies and then has them all like do
もう
her
一
work.
回抱きてえな。
He couldn't believe.
最強のパンができち
Oh
まっ
my
たぜ
god.。 Oh my god.
最強だぜ。わおわお。
He felt that. He's like, I can't deal with this shit. Oh, that's so good.
なあ、魔人って何？
Fiend.
お前義務教育受けてないのか？
おお、受けてねえよ。
人の死体を乗っ取った悪魔、それが魔人だ。
Oh. Wait.
じゃあ俺魔人じゃね？
違う。
Yeah.
魔人は頭の形状が特徴的だ。
What are we gonna see? Oh, there we go. Okay, just hit him with the axe. GG.
なんで悪魔の力使わなかった？
まあ、もうこいつみてえな魔人になってたかもしれねえからな。それでなんか、楽に殺してやりたくて。
Wow, he empathized with it a bit.
デビルハンターが悪魔に同情するな。
Yeah.
俺の家族は全員目の前で悪魔に殺された。
Alright.
お前以外全員本気なんだよ。悪魔をできるだけ苦しむように殺してやりたいぜ。
Fucking what?
悪魔と仲良しにでもなりたいのか？
友達になれる悪魔がいたらなりてえよ。俺友達いねえもん。
その言葉、覚えとくぜ。
Ooh.
ツンさせちゃったよ。本当はエロ本に血つけたくなかっただけな
That was his real reason.
のに。俺はもう夢にゴールしちまってるからな。あいつはまだ追いかけてんだ。
He's sympathizing with people a lot. He's thinking about them and what they think.
いいもん食えて、面のいい女も近くにいて、もう100点の生活なのに、なんか足りない気がする。
Friends?
マキマさんもなんかあんのか？
That's a good
マ
question.
キマさんも。
What is she after? He's thinking about her boobs. Of course he is. Of course he is.
僕の昔に俺には無理だと諦めてたけど、今のまともな仕事してる俺なら揉めるんじゃねえか。
I got a job now. Maybe I can touch your boobs now.
全員本気なんだよ。
そういうことだったのか。見つけたぜ。俺の本気。俺のゴール。胸だ。
Oh my god.
からバディを組んでも
Okay.
らう。
A new partner.
二人一組で行動することになって
Yes.
る。
Yes. Yes. Let's go.
おうおう、ひげ伏せ人間、わしの名はパワー。バディとやらはうぬか？
Fuck yes. Boobs.
まあいいか。
Oh my god.
パワーちゃんは理性が高いから早川くんの体に入れてみたんだ。結果が出せなかったらすぐにでも上の方々が解体しちゃうかもしれない。
So she's in the same terms that Denji is then. Alright. I already have a favorite character.
人間、早くなんか殺させろ。
どの理不尽なら辛いよけりゃ許す
Oh。my god.
問題はどうやって
That's the
胸
show.
を揉むかいねえじゃん。
わしのせいじゃな。
I killed him
わ
off.
しは魔人になる前は超恐れられてた悪魔じゃったからの。何か聞きたいことがあったら早川くんに聞きな。彼が君たちを組ませたから。
パワーと組ませて俺を活躍させないようにして、
Oh,
俺を辞めさせる気なんだ。
I see.
血の匂いじゃ。
Oh, she can smell blood. Let's go. She can actually trap people.
勝負じゃ勝負じゃ。戦いだ。
Oh, fuck yeah. I love when she's just running and screaming. Sea cucumber devil. Is that a hammer made of blood? Destroyed. Is that it?
わしの手柄じゃ。
Oh, fuck. I love her too much. She's just screaming and laughing. Ending! It also stands for a strong base. Let's go! I love her way too much. I hate that. I like all of these characters that were introduced, actually. I really like Aki. That was his name, right? We have a team. Dude, I fucking love this show. I'm just gonna read to you verbatim what I said to my friend just now. I hate how power is introduced and I'm immediately like, oh no, I feel something within me and it's not gonna go away anytime soon. That's me right now. I didn't say this during episode 1, but I have hinted at it. It's the fact that I I've seen these characters like over the years, and I don't really know much about them. I've just seen them. But the thing is that when you see someone in fan art, right? When you see a character in fan art, there's a lot that you can infer just by just seeing them, right? You can infer their personalities, you can infer what they're about, and then you see memes and stuff, right? So based entirely on nothing but like what I can see about the character, their design, and memes, I was like, this is gonna be my favorite character. In fact, this is like character that I would watch a show for. I'm the kind of person that if I see, well, this mostly applies to games, right? Like fighting games. If I see a character that like so immediately and strongly captivates me, that is a gateway for me to get into something. Like I saw Baiken and I was like, I'm a Guilty Gear fan now. Like that's how it went. So when it comes to Power, I've seen Power, and more specifically, I've seen that one cover from, okay, let me find that. Like I saw this cover right here, and I thought that that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Like I legitimately, unironically, honestly, want to get this as a poster or something, and have it like frame or something, and just put it like right here, like in my wall, just there. Like that looks so good. I love everything about this character design. I love everything about the colors used in this, like all this pink and green. In fact, like the little box that I put on the videos, on the reactions, the little box that you see, the border around it, right? It was entirely based on this picture because I love these colors so much. So I just exploded them with like this like soft green and this like eye-searing pink because I love that so much. So when I saw these characters, I was just like, oh, this character is a character that I'm going to like a lot. And then I learned that she's a disgusting, filthy gremlin. And I'm just like, oh no. Like, fuck. Listen, man, I have a couple of types when it comes to characters. And this is definitely one of my favorites. Fucking, dude, I'm like, this is for all you Danganronpa fans out there. I have 2 pieces of Ibuki Miyoda memorabilia on my desk right now. Anyway, I just love this feral woman who's just running and screaming and exploding in blood and screaming, I'm the Vector. I love her way too much. Like, fucking, her introduction is she walks in, she opens the door, and she goes like, humans, bow before the great power. Give me something to kill. I'm like, okay, fuck. Shit. I'm locked in here. There's nothing I can do now. Okay, so my recording session keeps being interrupted by outside forces. So I'm just gonna move on from talking about Power, which I could probably do for the next 30 minutes, but we're probably gonna have time to do that in future episodes. Let's talk about what else happened in the episode. So the episode starts, and my friend is watching the episode right now as we speak, and has been telling me about the experience, and I'm like, yeah, that was so good. So the episode starts with Denji. He's in the car, and I like that he's exactly as he was previous episode. He just has like busted shorts and nothing else, and he looks very awkward in that car, and he's very hungry. But the thing is that Makima just straight up tells him, hey, you're my dog now. And Denji actually has a moment where he's like, what the fuck does she think she is? She's treating me like a dog. God damn it, I thought she was a good person, but I think she's just a bastard now. And then she's like, we can go get food. And he's like, I don't have money. And she's like, it's okay, I'll pay for your food. You just tell me what you want to eat. Also, here's my coat so you will look less inconspicuous when we go get food. And then she has this moment where he's like, fuck. Oh my gosh, she's like actually the best person ever. And it's so funny to me because it starts with Denji being like wary of her because she's emanating red flags, and then she's like, I can give you food and here's my coat too. And he's like, oh my god, I'm following you to the ends of the earth. Like, he has a moment where he's like, oh my god, I can eat whatever. Oh my god, no one ever gave me that kindness. Also, she's so fucking pretty. Holy shit. It's like unbelievable. He has a moment where he falls over on her chest, and then he's and they say, oh sorry, but like that's another small moment to throw in there. He's a little bit out of it, but still, he was just laying in there, and he was like, oh my god, this is good, you smell good. And then we have the scene where, well, he passes out, and then he wakes up, and I think he was in her lap when he does that's fine. We did that in the first episode already. Oh my god. But he's like, I'm gonna have the udon. I can smell the udon. Can you eat the udon? And she's like, yes, you can eat the udon. And he's like, oh, perfect. And then she asks, can you eat by yourself? And he's like, yes, I can. No, I can't, actually. Because when she asked that, I was exactly in the same wavelength that Denji was, because I was like, yeah, he can do. What was she implying? And then I'm like, oh my god. And then he says it. No, I can't. Because the fact that she's asking that implies that if you say the opposite, then she's gonna feed you. And Denji makes that exact same connection at the same time. And he's like, yes, I can. No, I cannot. Like, it's so funny. And then she just feeds him. She's the one that feeds him. So then immediately afterwards, he asks her, hey, what type of guys are you into? And Makima's response is very interesting to me, because she says, guys like Denji-kun. So she's into guys like Denji. What does that mean? Okay, there's a couple of things that probably means. One, she says that just because it makes him easier to manipulate. Makima is doing this thing where she's pressing all the right buttons in order to get Denji to do whatever the fuck she wants. Another thing that probably means is the fact that guys like Denji-kun, like, what is a guy like Denji? A guy like Denji is an absolute simp that you can manipulate very easily. She also refers to him as a dog, so her answer is dogs. Hey, if Makima watched anime, how do you think she would consume her anime? In Japanese, because she likes subs. My friend just yelled at me in all caps, "Then not the devil." And I was like, I know. But back to Makima though, this is a very interesting character dynamic and character. It appears that she's doing everything she can in order to make Denji do whatever she wants him to do. At the same time, she hasn't... I have to go back to check, and I'll probably will get back to you after I edit the episode, but has she ever lied? I feel like she hasn't. I feel like she doesn't lie, which makes me think about her, because the one lie that I was thinking about is whenever she said guys like Denji-kun. I don't think she's in love with him, but I think she does like that type of person, because those are the types of person that she can easily manipulate and use. So that's technically not a lie. And the reason why I'm saying that she doesn't really lie is because she just tells him, "You're my dog. I don't have use for people who can't say no. It's either yes or bark." She tells him later in the episode, like, "You're gonna be working with us until you fucking die. Because if you ever leave us, we're just gonna kill you like a devil." She said that at the very beginning in the previous episode. She was like, "I can kill you like a devil, or you can come be a human for me. No, or I can keep you as a human." That's the wording she used. So Makima is honest. You can say whatever you want about her, but she's honest. But something that's very interesting about her is exactly to what extent she's utilizing people. And there's something really interesting that Denji asked in this very episode, where he talks about what is his like motivation, what is his goal. And at one point he's like, "Boobs, that's my goal." That's my motivation. And it's interesting how like that's like, I hate the pervy guy character in literally every anime. Anime does this a lot. I hate them so much. But it's okay with Denji, because Denji is such a fucked up character that like, really what he's asking is almost just coming from a place of innocence and like human nature. Like, he's not asking for a lot. He doesn't really have malicious intent. He's just like, man, I wish I could get a girlfriend at one point. Dude, maybe one day I could touch boobs. Like, it's innocent in its own way. But anyway, before I get too sidetracked, at one point he asked, I wonder if Makima has something like that too. Because he's thinking about, what was his name? Hayakawa. Because he's thinking about Aki Hayakawa. He's thinking about his partner. He's like, he probably has something that drives him, something like revenge or something. These cops here, they're working really hard in order to protect their families. So he's thinking about actually other people and what their motivation is. And he thinks about himself and he's like, well, I gotta get boobs. Which is it's interesting because it's a very aware moment for Denji, actually, because he's thinking about other people. He's thinking about others, and he's thinking about, like, okay, what is their motivation? What is their goal? Not a lot of people do that, and the fact that Denji is doing that is actually very interesting, and I really like that. And then he goes to himself, and he's like, well, I don't really have anything that I really want that I don't already have. Like, he's talking about, like, man, I can eat good food, I have a place to live, I get to look at a cute girl regularly. Man, life is peach. But, like, and then he's thinking about, like, well, what is there something I'm missing? And in my head, I was like, oh, maybe you're missing friends. And then he's like, dude, I want to touch boobs. Sure, yeah, Denji, sure. It's interesting because Denji is, I don't know what age he's supposed to be, but he's like a 15, 16-year-old. And I'm like, you know what? Sure. Like, sure, I believe it. This is incredibly realistic because of what he is, what age he is, and like the fact that his entire life he's been like neglected a normal life. So now he's entering this weird world of like young adult type thing, and he has no bearings to anything. He doesn't really understand or get anything. And he's a teenage boy. He's like, man, I would like to get a girlfriend. I would like to touch some boobs. And it's just like, oh my God, this kid. But also I get it, right? Also I get it. And I can't really be mad at him for it because we saw how fucked up his life was previous episode. He didn't get a chance to develop normally. So I'm like, sure, sure. So that's his motivation. And I really like this little glimpse we got of Aki, this character, Aki. I feel like we should call him by last name, Hayakawa. And we're going to talk about Hayakawa in a little bit, but I find really interesting how he's thinking about what is Makima's motivation. Because I'm sitting here thinking the same thing. What is Makima's motivation? Because she's very clearly pushing people's buttons in order to get them to do whatever she wants. She's very clearly manipulating Denji into doing so, and I feel like she's doing the same to Hayakawa. I feel like she's doing the same to everyone. Anyone who's like working under her, I feel like they are on some level being manipulated by her. Now the question is, what is her goal? What is her motivation? I mean, we say goal, but we can say like, okay, her goal is to do her job properly. But motivation, I feel like, is the key question here. Because you're gonna have a character that is just like, I'm just doing my job. And it's like, okay, sure, but what is your personal stake here? Like, what is the thing that you personally care about that drives you to do it? That's what this question is. That's what makes this interesting. Where is Makima coming from? What is her motivation? What is her desire? What is the thing that she wants to accomplish? Because all we know right now is that I don't know if she's the head or like some high ranking something into like Devil Hunter department. Like, I don't know exactly what her position is, but we can just say she's like, okay, sure, I just want to do my job properly. Maybe it's some kind of personal vendetta. Maybe it's some kind of personal crusade. Maybe it's a weird kind of sadism. I don't know, but like we need to figure that out. And I want to see that. I want to see what that is like. Pochita died so Denji could touch boobs. Yeah, a noble sacrifice. Okay, we spent a good amount of time talking about Makima. Let's talk about Hayakawa here. I like this character because he's so serious. Like, he's the straight man almost. Because when you have a chaotic main character, an even more chaotic side character, and then you have to introduce the straight man in the group. And what's interesting about him is that he's very much all business. And also he has this thing where, like, as soon as Denji comes in, he is like, punches him, and he just punches him, and he's like, all right, dude, you gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, you're not gonna do the job properly. You're only in here for some motive that is not, like, the motive that you should be here for. You need to be motivated in order to defeat these devils. That's the only way you're gonna survive through this. So, I'm just being nice here. Just get the fuck out of here. And it's interesting because he says, like, the only reason you're here is for Makima, which is very obvious. I like that he's smart, but he's not like genius smart. He's just like saying the obvious thing that we can all see. And he calls Denji out on that. And when Denji says like, yeah, he's like, all right, sure. And then he just tosses a cigarette on him and then spits on him. It specifically spits on the cigarette. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like a foreshadow as to what his abilities are, that he's like super precise or something. But like, no, he just spits on the cigarette and puts it off, and also spits on Denji in the process, which is disrespectful, but it is supposed to signify that he has no respect for Denji. Denji then stands up and just goes and kicks him in the dick, well, in the nuts, And he does that like 5 times. Like he kicked him and he immediately fell to the floor. He's like, ah, and then he did it over and over again. And then they had like a little fight, and then he kicked him in the nuts again a final time, and then he passed out. And then he came to Makima and he was like, he got attacked by the nut devil. Oh my god, this show's so good. But what's interesting is that later, when they're going on this mission where they have to kill this fiend, they have a conversation about him taking everything super seriously because he watched his family get killed by devils, and now has some kind of personal vendetta, some kind of personal mission. That's what drives him, and that's why he's super serious, because he wants to get everything done correctly and right, because he wants to make sure that these devils die. However, there is a contradiction into what he says, and this is interesting, this is fun to point out, is that when Denji says, I wanted to make it a quick, painless death for this guy, just because I kind of related to him, which was a lie. He just wanted to see the boobs in the magazine, and he didn't want to splatter blood everywhere with his chainsaws, which is really fun. But what Hayakawa says is that I would rather torture these devils for as long as possible. And that's a contradiction to his person. And it's interesting because it's there and you can notice it. It's the fact that he says, I want to take everything super seriously. But if you torture devils just for as long as possible, just for the joy of it, that's not taking things seriously. If you were taking things seriously, you would want to get rid of them ASAP, just kill them and just move on. Like that's the professional thing to do. The fact that he would rather torture them for as long as possible means that he's not operating entirely on rationality, he's operating on his emotions of vendetta, which is a contradiction as the kind of person that he wants to be and that he pretends to be, is the fact that he actually does have the little bit of like, I actually hate this guy so fucking much. That's what motivates me, and I want to be the most professional person I can be in order to be efficient at killing them, but at the same time, God, I enjoy killing them. And it's just like, that's okay. There's like a little bit of personality there that comes through if you notice it, if you point it out. That makes him that makes it a much more interesting character than if he had just been like completely serious and by the book and everything perfectly. He's like, no, I would rather torture them. And the other little thing that maybe you can see a little bit is that Denji seems, I mean, Denji's really into Makima. It's not even seems, it's just straight up, yes, that's how it is. And Hayakawa has this moment where he expresses, like, not loudly or directly. Well, actually, yes, he did. Makes me think that Hayakawa actually does have also a thing for Makima. Maybe it's not as, like, direct as that. Maybe it's more of a, I respect Miss Makima with my life and I will protect her and do whatever she says, because like that's also a thing Makima does. And when he said that, I was like, oh no, like I feel like it makes me think of this scene in Yakuza 0 where a character says like, oh, this character's such a bastard, such a evil piece of shit, isn't he? And he's like, what? He's my dad. And it's like, yeah, he gets all of these orphans to like him and owe him, and then they go out and die for him because he raised them and they all love him, but he's really just creating soldiers for himself. And that's not really the case in Yakuza 0, but I can see that being the case in Chainsaw Man. I can definitely see how Makima takes time out of her day to personally make everyone feel, okay, I'm here for you. Even the way she speaks, like, I like the way she's speaking, and this is something I noticed in this episode mostly. We talk about this with my friend here, my friend who I've been discussing Chainsaw Man with. My friend tells me how they didn't like Makima's voice, because Makima's voice was like too soft, too, like, she sounds like she's a teenager, and you would be expecting a deeper voice or something. I didn't have any hard feelings on that. I was saying I'm gonna wait until later to see how her performance goes in future episodes. And in this episode, I really felt how the way she's speaking is something like this. And it's very soft-spoken. It's also, it sounds nice, but it also sounds emotionless. It sounds warm, but it sounds dead. And that's very interesting to me. I can see how she takes her personal time out of her day to personally go and spend time with all of these members, and she speaks in that cadence, she speaks in that manner, she buys food for them, she says that she likes them, or whatever, right? Whatever works is something she will do just to get them to do whatever she says. Either for whatever reason it might be, like a life debt, or you're horny, or whatever. It's like, I will do anything in order to get these people to do whatever I told them to do. Man, that's so fucking, like, interesting. I love that, actually. I love that as a character, because that is a character that's like, we don't really have an antagonist right now. That's the closest thing to an antagonist. But she's also the boss of the protagonist, and also the protagonist loves her, and everyone is working for her. But like the antagonists of the show are devils, but like Makima is very clearly manipulating everybody. Like, she's very clearly a terrible person. She's emanating red flags, and then she's wondering, should I ignore those red flags? She seemed really nice and she bought me food. Also, man, boobs. So Denji's of course ignoring it. But the same goes for everyone else. Everyone else is able to just completely dismiss whatever she's saying, even though she's being deadly honest. She's like, I'm going to use you. I have no use for people who say no. You're going to say yes, or you're going to bark for me because you are my dog. I own you. And if you ever quit this company, we're going to kill you. Like, she just tells you that. And everyone is like, okay. It's like, what are we doing here? I really want to see what Hayakawa's like past is with Makima, because he sounds like he owes her. He sounds like he's indebted to her. He says she saved my life, I think. And Denji asks him, like, is she a good person? And Hayakawa says, of course she is. She saved my life. And that's a personal response. That's not a rational, realistic response. That's personal. Everyone has a personal reason as to why they think Makima is a good person and why they would follow her. She has like 50 charisma in D&D terms. She has charisma and persuasion, and that's all it. My friend just sent me a picture. This is on my timeline after I just watched 20 minutes of Denji about to bust. Also, I just checked Twitter. Makima is trending, at least in Argentina. Of course she is. Of course she is. It begins. Like, here we go. Dude, I also saw a meme on Reddit, like a couple days ago after episode 1 came out. It was like the meme of like, friendship ended with whatever. And it was that, it said like, friendship ended with, what's her name? Mari? The girl from the cosplay show. Everyone loves her, and it was like, friendship ended with her. Now Makima's my new waifu. And the reply to that, like, it was a tweet that said, like, it's funny that the anime community is memeing about this when considering all the fucked up shit she's about to do. I'm just sitting here like, what is she gonna do? I can see it, I just don't know what it is. Like, it's very funny to me, because like, okay, here's something I feel is worth mentioning and pointing out right now. And it's something it's not about the show, it's about the creator of the show, Fujimoto. I think that's his name. I read like a small paragraph or something. And I don't know if it was from an interview or something, but it basically said how he remembers he had like a moment where I think he was in college or something, or the equivalent of that in Japan. And I think he like parked his bike or something outside. And he saw a girl, and he saw how she just fucking threw his bike on the ground, and she just laughed at him, and that was it. That was the entire interaction. She was just threw that shit on the floor and just laughed at him and left. And Fujimoto had a moment where he was like, wait, I'm into that. And he specifically said that he realized that he actually kind of likes irrational girls. That's what he said. I like irrational women. But that's the event that I remember. That's what happened. And I remember that this piece of like an interview came out, and people were like, of course. And I read that, and I was like, I'm very excited for this show. I really am. Because like, don't you ever get tired of seeing female characters that you're supposed to like because they're really cute, or they're like very sanitized or something? And then this man comes in, and he's like, all my girls are fucked up and make no sense. And I'm like, okay. Okay, I'm listening. And then Power comes in this up. Yeah, I'm bringing Power back. Hi. What's up? Power comes in this episode. She's screaming that she's better than every human. She's like, I want to kill something. She starts smelling things like an animal. She starts running and screaming and pulls out a giant mace and explodes this demon and bathes in blood and screams, I'm the winner. And I'm like, okay. All right. Okay. I'm listening. Makima, which is these are really the only two female characters we have so far, but this tracks. Makima is a character that's so fucked up that I'm like, okay, I like this. This is very interesting. In a show where the main character is a fucking dumbass and an idiot gremlin that has like no life experiences, he's like the second most rational person in the show so far. Like, depending on whether or not you can consider Makima rational or not, but like, she's so fucked up, and like, yes, everything she does is for a reason, and it's for a goal. So in that sense, she's intelligent, she is smart, she is charismatic. I don't know if she's a rational person. I don't know if what she's doing is for a purpose that one would consider to be sane or not. The only thing we know is that she doesn't have very good morals. That's it. And then you have fucking Power, who's just screaming. And that's it. That's her entire character. She's just like screaming and going, human, I want to kill something. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. God, I love Power so much. I hate it. I hate it that you ever watch a show, an anime or anything, like, not watch it, but like, you know, when you see either in the show or outside of the show, you see a character and you're like, that one, that's my character. You know, when you have that moment, I had that moment with Power, and I've been making this a joke with my friend here for a while. We've been talking about the show, and I'm like, you know, I'm really interested in this character. I think she looks very cool. And my friend, we started rolling with that, and it's been built up for so long at this moment that now when she's finally on screen, my friend is like, of course you like her. Look at her. Like, she's a fucking feral woman. Like, she looks like the image of the woman holding the fish in her mouth, and she looks like an animal. I'm like, yeah, of course she's my favorite character. I love her design too. I love everything about her design. Her hair is messy, falls over her head. She has like devil horns. Even though she wears the like proper shirt with a tie, she has like a hoodie on, not like a, I don't know. It is like kind of like a hoodie, and she kind of wears it like I do, like this right now. It's like kind of over my shoulders, but not really. Like, one side is actually falling here, and the other is like over here. I think that's how she wears it. And like, she's so fucking cool. Her eyes look really hypnotizing as well. Like, man, all the eyes in this show are really good. That's something I gotta say. At least these two female characters have really cool eyes. I enjoy seeing them. Man, I love Power. Okay, sure, let's keep going. What else do we talk about this episode? We talk a lot about Makima. We talk about Hayakawa a little bit. Dude, there is this small sequence where Denji is living with Hayakawa, and I really like it, and I can tell that Hayakawa doesn't, but I really like it because we've seen Denji in the previous episodes, so we know how fucked up his life and his living conditions were. But that means that now we see him in better living conditions, and he's trying to adapt. Well, not so much adapt, he's exploring because he's excited. So he's putting all sorts of shit on this fucking piece of toast. And he's like, dude, this is going to be the best piece of toast ever. And he eats it and he's like, oh, that's so fucking good. And it's like, of course he would feel that way. Like, if he's been eating plain bread his entire fucking life, of course, when he gets the chance to see the things that he's been seeing or hearing about in like magazines and stuff, he's like, yo, you can put shit into this bread and they taste fucking better. And he's doing that and he's like, oh dude, that shit slaps. And like the way, because he doesn't really have a semblance of how you should treat anything, like he pulls out all this shower soap and he puts it all in the bread and everything is falling over into the table and it's all a mess. And Hayakawa is looking at this like, what the fuck is he doing? And Denji's just so excited. He's like, yeah man, this is gonna taste so good. Like, I feel happy for Denji because we saw in previous episode and we saw how fucked up his life was. So I'm just like, you know what? give this boy a fucking good piece of toast. That piece probably wasn't even good, but to him it was because he had flavor. We see him taking a bath. We see him like falling asleep on the toilet. Like Hayakawa's doing the laundry and shit. And it's like Hayakawa's the responsible one. And he's the one that knows how to live, I guess. But Denji's like a child. He's learning how to do all sorts of stuff, and he's also happy. So he's like, yeah man, this is all very cool, I'm having a great time here. To Hayakawa, this is probably the most annoying thing in the world, because it would be like, if you were in the situation that Hayakawa was in, you would be like, fuck this kid. Like, imagine you go to work and your boss is like, okay, you're gonna take this piece of shit to live with you. And then he's like, okay, sure. You get a new roommate that was forced onto you. And then your new roommate is like a 5-year-old in the body of a 16-year-old. And he's just screaming and just doing random shit. And he's just happy and excited. And it's like, that's something that you can kind of excuse in a kid. That's something that you don't really excuse in a teenager or an adult. But in Denji's situation, because we know I excuse him. I think it makes me happy that he's living this life now. But Hayakawa doesn't have that context, so he's like, fucking god damn it, probably. Like, and that's funny to me. That is a funny dynamic that we're creating between these two characters. Here's where it gets better. If power goes to live with those two, because Hayakawa does have a moment where he says, like, Miss Makima, I already have enough troublemakers in my squad. Like, I feel like he was talking about power, because also you can see those three in the intro. Like, it's those three together. So I'm thinking that that's the squad. You also see them in the outro too. It's those three. If power goes to live with Denji and Hayakawa, this show would be the best show in the world. God fucking damn. I mean, I'm just a power simp. I'm gonna, like, I'm not even gonna try to hide it here. I'm just being honest with you. But if I enjoy Denji and Hayakawa this much, I'm gonna love so much seeing Power and Denji and Hayakawa together, because we go from having a fucking piece of shit trash child who's horny all the time and a serious dude who is responsible, to now we're gonna have two disgusting goblin children and a serious adult who's responsible. Oh my god, poor Hayakawa, man. Anyway, so I think that's gonna be it for this. Okay, I can talk about Power a little bit more though. She's so good. I love her design. I already said all of this, but like, dude, like, I'm such a fucking, god damn it. I hate how predictable I am with some of my favorite characters. Like, okay, the least like a normal person is a character, the more I will like them. Actually, more specifically on the social aspect, the least a character is like a normal person that you would talk to, the more I am going to be into that character. Also, character design plays a big strong part in it, but most of my favorite characters, I notice, not all of them, but like a lot of them, are characters that don't really fit in when it comes to like socializing. Like, it's the kind of character that no one really talks to, or like they would talk but they would say something really weird and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why are you so weird? Whether or not this is a quiet character, a character that doesn't say a lot, or whether or not this is a character that goes like, human, give me something to kill. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I can smell blood. I'm like, oh god, I love her. Like, whatever it is the type of character that I love. It's the character that doesn't feel normal. It's the weirdo character. It's the character that everyone is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's the one that I would probably like. The quirky character, I guess. My friend told me, add her to your list of favorite girls who are 2 days old. And I'm like, who else is on that list? And my friend is Kula Diamond, Raya Yanami, and I'm like, Ramlethal Valent. Okay, yeah, sure, I can see it. This is my type. And like, this is something I noticed the more recently, is that characters who are just like not normal is the character that I would love. Man, I need one of these, but for Power. Like I need that. I need that so badly. I know there's like a Power Nendoroid. I could get that. I don't know if I want Nendoroids though. I never got Nendoroids. Like, I might as well just buy a Power figure. There is a really cool Power figure that I saw that is like $250. So I'm not getting it. But it's a cool Power figure because it's this cover. it's this post. There's a power figure in this post. And it has like a stand and everything, but it's like $300. And I'm like, God fucking damn it. I want that so badly. Fuck, shit, fuck. Okay, let's start a fundraiser. Yo, check out my Patreon. Go to my Patreon to support me and my power expenses. This is a joke. I'm gonna use it to eat food, like Denji. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for this episode, dude. There's not much else I can say. This is just such a good episode. I wanted to record a different thing today. It's 10 p.m. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. That's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode reaction to Chainsaw Man. See you guys next week. And alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode reaction to Chainsaw Man. If you would like to watch full-length reactions for this episode, you're going to do so over at the Patreon. Check out the link in the description below, social media, all this would help out a lot. See you guys next time. Take care everybody, bye bye.